Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Cult Movie Tuesday right here on Night Owl Video. Today we're talking about the decline of Western civilization. This will be probably, I find documentary reviews to be a little shorter just because there's maybe not as much to talk about as far as production and cast, but I will run through this movie, talk about my feelings and critical reception, who's in the film, all that jazz. So I hope you'll stick around. Thank you to everybody who subscribed recently. I appreciate your support and for all the cool comments about movies and stuff like that. And for suggestions about movies to review. I really appreciate all that. That's really, really cool. Today, we're talking about the decline of Western civilization right here on Cult Movie Tuesdays. This is a documentary film from 1981, directed by Penelope Spheeris, who also directed Suburbia, an underrated one that I just saw a couple years ago called Dudes, and she also directed Wayne's World, surprisingly. So Penelope Spheeris kind of had that punk rock edge, and then with later movies, she got more into like mainstream stuff, but this was one of her, I don't know if this was her first movie, but it was definitely one of her earlier ones, because I think Suburbia and Dudes came out after this. So this could very well be her original, her first movie. But this movie is a documentary about well, I'll do the synopsis first and then we'll talk about who's in it. This is a look at the late 1970s LA punk rock scene and how its music drove its culture, investigating the songs of bands like the Alice Bag Band, Black Flag, Circle Jerks, Catholic Discipline, Fear, The Germs, and of course one of my all-time favorites, X. So yeah, this is if you like, this is crazy. Like, I didn't see this movie as I can't remember when I first saw this, but I definitely did not see this when I was a teenager, when I was really, really into punk rock. But seeing this years later was such a thrill because I don't know about you, but I love it when, it's something you really love and then you get to see like a deeper dive into it, almost like like when they do a documentary about a movie and you get to see behind the scenes and stuff. This is like getting to see like what it was really like in LA in the early 80s, hardcore punk rock scene, or I guess punk rock scene. I don't think there was a lot of the real fast stuff just as of yet, except for maybe Circle Jerks, but in 1981, allegedly, the LAPD chief of police, Daryl Gates, wrote a letter demanding that the film not be shown again in the city. The film's title is possibly a reference to music critic Lester Bang's 1970s two-part review of the Stooges' album Funhouse for Cream magazine, where Bangs quotes a friend who had said the popularity of the Stooges signaled, quote-unquote, the decline of Western civilization. Another possibility is that the title refers to Darby Crash's reading of Oswald Spengler's book, The Decline of the West. The film is the opening act of a trilogy by Penelope Spheeris, depicting music scenes in Los Angeles during the late 20th century. The second film, The Decline of Western Civilization Part 2, The Metal Years from 1988, covers the Los Angeles heavy metal scene of 87-88. The third film, The Decline of Western Civilization Part 3 from 1998, chronicles the gutter punk lifestyle of homeless teenagers in the late 1990s. In 2016, The Decline of Western Civilization was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the United States National Film Registry, being deemed, quote, culturally historically or aesthetically significant, unquote. So yeah, this is a cool snapshot of a scene. And when I was a kid growing up in New Brunswick in Canada, the punk scene there, for me anyway, started around 85 or 80, I guess 86. So this was like, all this stuff was going on. 1981, I was still listening to like Journey and Styx, and Star Wars soundtracks. So I had no idea that, all this cool stuff was going on. So again, it's cool to like, now that you're older, you can go back and look at this and go like, oh my God, this is so crazy that this existed, this scene, and it was so intense. This film currently holds a 100% on Rotten Tomatoes based on 41 audience reviews. So this could be a Night Owl video first. I don't know if I've reviewed a movie that's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Eleanor Ringel Cater of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution says, quote, Penelope Spheeris' aptly and ironically titled documentary is a disturbing, often hilarious, strangely exhilarating look at the punk rock scene in Los Angeles as it was during the first 6 months of 1980, unquote. Yeah, my thoughts on this film. This is just a wicked little music documentary about this scene. It really captures the spirit and energy of it through the performances of these bands. The performances are, for the most part, really, really good. You get behind-the-scenes footage of the bands hanging out at their apartments, talking about all kinds of things. The band X is in here giving each other tattoos, homemade tattoos. It's really cool to like be able to go and see that stuff behind the scenes. They're just hanging out and doing what they're doing. It's cool to see, you know, this, trying to think like this, there's even like an Alice Bag Band song, you know, We Don't Need the English. And this is really like the LA scene saying like, you know, we're doing something different. And it really was compared to like, say, New York or Washington, D.C. or those scenes. This was really like a bit more, I don't want to say nihilistic, but it was a little darker. And this is, bear in mind, this is just at the cusp of like the hardcore scene where, you know, the tempo started to pick up and the lyrics got a lot more political. This is like just right at that flashpoint. And so you're getting a lot of like experimentation with the music. And it's such, I mean, I love this stuff. And so to be able to see this in its infancy is so cool. And this is the beginning of what would eventually become like the North American hardcore scene. And you can see inklings of it in here, Black Flag and Circle Jerks, like I mentioned. The tempos were starting to pick up. The lyrics were starting to get a little bit more political. But then on the flip side, you had X, who were singing about, they were almost like beatniks, if you will, like filtered through 50s rock with this kind of punk edge. You had the Germs, you know, Darby Crash is here on the cover, who was drunk or messed up on drugs for the whole thing. And they played real sloppy, kind of slower tempo, like maybe a precursor to like Flipper or bands like that, but also incorporating some of those hardcore elements into it. But yeah, this, you know, this is just a really varied scene. Catholic Discipline were just such outliers in here, with Kick Boy Face doing some monologues about, you know, culture and punk rock and everything. I love this stuff. I could just talk about this stuff for days, but this edition is the Shout Select Shout Factory DVD. This is from 2015. Let's see. Unfortunately, I didn't realize this is full frame, but it's 100 minutes long from 1981. Let's see. It's not rated, I should say. The DVD, what else? Special features, new 2K scan of the original film, never before seen footage, interviews, and performances, audio commentary by Penelope Spheeris, and additional audio commentary by Dave Grohl. Some of you may know Dave Grohl from the rock band Foo Fighters and Nirvana. Yeah, there's a back. There's Exene from X, and Pat Smear, who of course went on to be in Nirvana. There's Darby looking very menacing there on the side. And of course the cover is that very famous image of Darby laying on the stage asking for more beer. The inside is, the DVD's just got some pictures from the film. And then on the inside, I was trying to figure this out. Set this down for a minute. This must be a scene from, a street scene from outside one of the clubs. You can see all the cop cars and the chaos going on there. So of course, Black Flag is in here, an early incarnation of Black Flag, and of course they were infamous for their shenanigans, if you will, playing shows in LA and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're interested in music history, even if you're really not into punk rock, I highly recommend this. It's just a really good snapshot of the scene. They interview some of the punk rockers that are going to the show, and they are talking about, their lives and struggles and why they do what they do and go to these punk shows. So, but I would have to say probably my favorite part was X, the band X in here. I love the band X. Los Angeles is one of my favorite punk records of all time. And to get to see behind the scenes of their lives in here, and Exene Cervenka is just so awesome. And John Doe, for that matter, they were such a cool band and so interesting and really stood out amongst this scene. But all the bands on here are really good. If you want to see the chaos of the early Germs, this is where you can go. I think you can watch some of these performances on YouTube. You can actually currently watch this for free on the Plex app if you have a smart TV. And there is a free copy on YouTube if you want to check it out there. And you can also rent it on Google Play or Apple TV. So there's lots of options for you to enjoy this movie. I'm curious about part 2 with the metal years. I'm curious about that one. I never really heard great things about it, but I'm still kind of curious to check it out. I'm not really interested in the other one, the gutter punk thing, but if it's done as well as this one, I'm sure it would still make for a good documentary. I'll read the back just because it's probably good too. It says, called Shrewd, Engrossing, the New York Times, and as dynamic and engaging as it is revealing, Los Angeles Times, Penelope Spheeris' The Decline of Western Civilization is a riveting, unflinching, and hardcore film, which adeptly captures the spirit of the major cultural phenomenon, including performances by X, Circle Jerks, Black Flag, Fear, Catholic Discipline, Germs, and Alice Bag Band. It's at once hilarious, mesmerizing, and deeply disturbing, the Philadelphia Daily News. So, yeah, this is it, baby. Like, this is the raw punk rock snapshot that you want to see if you're into this scene. So, and again, like there's more in the recent years about recording and archiving and publishing about these early underground music scenes that were, for the most part, I think, not that well documented. Of course, like Discord Records had, great photography and captured a lot of those moments. But I think in more recent years, we're starting to see, like the book, This Band Could Be Your Life. We're starting to see, more snapshots of that time. But this one came out right in that, like I said, flashpoint. So this was like probably pretty shocking to some people that had never seen like punk rock scenes. So yeah, if you like punk rock, if you like music documentaries, if you like little snapshots in time of scenes that took place and faded away, excuse me, this is your jam. I might do a part 2 on this and do a deeper dive on some of the music and stuff, because I just feel like there's so much to talk about here. But this one is still available, I believe, through Shout. So you could probably order it online. And like I said, there is a free copy on YouTube if you want to check it out. Plus, I think there's shorter performances by each of the individual bands if you want to just check out the bands. But yeah, that's my thoughts on The Decline of Western Civilization. What did you think of this film? Did you love it as much as I did? Or maybe you thought the whole thing was a little overrated? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Consider giving me the thumbs up if you like this review. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Follow me over on Instagram at Night Owl Video. And until next time, I will see you at the video store or at the thrift store or just out and about somewhere. Maybe I'll find you in a mosh pit in LA. But until next time, take good care of yourselves and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.